but so the same as a heterosexual person choosing not to have sex doesn't make them asexual. Yeah, but a lot of asexual people are celibate, not interested, no libido, whatever. Everyone's different. So it's thought about 1% of the population is asexual. They might not know it. I have known for less than a year that I was asexual. I just didn't know about it. I didn't know it was a thing. I didn't know you could, if you weren't attracted to boys or girls, you could choose to just, like, I realised I wasn't attracted to boys quite a few years ago, but I thought, no, I don't want to have sex with girls, so I must be attracted to boys. It doesn't work like that. There is an opt-out option. But yeah, 1% of people, 1% of people is actually 70 million people on the planet. That's actually, it's quite a lot of people. I don't know, I'm not very good with numbers, how many people there might be in here today. I might not be the only asexual person here, I don't know. But yeah, representation is very, very important, and I'm going to come to this. Have a little bit of a qualm with Stephen Moffat, which I'll explain in a moment. But yeah, it's important that it's known about, that it exists, and that you can choose to go, oh wait, I'm not attracted to you. So, some famous asexual people. I was going to get you to guess them. Okay, never mind. Can you guess any more apart from Morrissey? Does anyone know any other asexual people apart from Morrissey? Or fictional characters? You can shout them out at me, or...
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah. Although we'll come to that in a minute. This is my issue with Moffat. No? Okay, so Morrissey from Smith. Janae Gruffalo, she's the best last name in the world, sounds like Gruffalo. She's an American comedian and actress. Bradford Cox from the band Deer Hunter, who I've never heard of, but it was on the list of asexual people on the internet. It's quite a short list. Emily Orton, she's a singer. And Mike Skinner from The Streets. I have heard of him. Haha. It's also thought that Nikola Tesla, Isaac Newton, Emily Bronte, and J.M. Barrie were asexual, but that's kind of purely based on the fact that they chose not to have sex, which doesn't necessarily mean that they were asexual. That might have been for a whole host of reasons. So, yeah. But in terms of fictional characters, there's not many. There's not many confirmed ones anyway. Commonly thought to be asexual, Sherlock Holmes, absolutely, number one. That's how I read something about Sherlock Holmes, and that is how I found out about asexuality. The issue I have with Stephen Moffat is that he is determined. No, I'm not going to make him asexual, that would be boring. Oh, I'm sorry. Thanks so much. But generally, in pretty much every adaptation, Sherlock Holmes is portrayed as asexual, particularly in the books. Doctor Who, the best Doctor Who, thank you. Most people think the Doctor is asexual. Again, my favourite person, Stephen Moffat, has said he doesn't, but Matt Smith absolutely stated he completely thought that the Doctor is asexual. I don't know, it's not, he hasn't identified as asexual, so you can't be sure, but I like to think that he is. He's a bit of a role model of mine. Bilbo Baggins, again, this is kind of an assumption purely because he didn't marry and didn't have children, but again, you can't take that as necessarily an indicator. And Sheldon Cooper portrays a lot of characteristics of an asexual person. We don't know, they play around with him and Amy's relationship a lot, so anything could happen, but a lot of people think that he might be asexual. So yeah, to finish up with, I'm going to hand over to my friend Tiny Dinosaur, who I came across on Tumblr, and he's going to summarise for me. So.
What's the difference between sensual and romantic?
It's quite contested.
You mentioned like cuddling and stuff, got to be falling into romantic.
The issue is why there's an issue with it essentially, because for me, some people don't see kissing as romantic. and I do. So they might see that as sensual, and sensual attraction meaning I want to kiss this person. I would see that as romantic, and I don't want to go there. It's a lot more vague. It's a lot more up to personal interpretation and preference. So it is a fine line in a lot of ways. I go with cuddling because I'm up for cuddling most people. But that's kind of as far as I would take it, I guess. I guess being comfortable, sort of being touchy-feely with people is how I would put it, but it's very much different per person.
Also, do you feel peer pressured into doing all this stuff?
I did. So like I said, I found out less than a year ago that I was asexual, and my whole life up to that point, I thought, well, I'm going to meet someone and get married and have children and whatever. And I never kind of stepped back and thought, actually, this isn't what I want, which is what I did when I realised I was asexual. And I realised that actually that's because that's what we're taught. We're taught is that we meet someone and we get married. And so I dated people, and I wasn't comfortable with it. I don't like kissing. That comes into that. And I did it because that's what you're supposed to do, and it was horrible because I felt broken, like Tiny Dinosaur said. It makes you feel really, really confused because you're like, I do like this person. I guess I was aesthetically and platonically attracted to these people, but not romantically, and so it was, there was a barrier there, and that was because I was just brought up to think that that is what everyone does. Everyone wants a romantic, romantic relationship. So yeah, I definitely think there's different. I don't feel it now because I'm confident in who I am now, but I think without that knowledge of my sexuality or lack of, there was a lot of not certainly peer pressure, but just pressure from everything, society and all of that. So yeah. Yes.
I have a question. So any kind of sort of physicality or in any respect, is it a complete distaste or lack of connection or with it, or is there sort of an innate fear or fright that it functions as, or?
I think again that's different for different people. Okay. So for me, I'm happy sort of being close to people and touching people and whatever, but I don't want anything. And I think I have a bit of sort of distaste for that. Like, I don't want to go anywhere near it. We do have terms in the asexual community which are like sex positive and sex. I can't remember what the word is now. But yeah, essentially not sex negative, but essentially that you're just not sex repulsed. There we go, sex repulsed. So that's what I am. I'm just no thanks. But some asexuals are completely confident in their physicality and sexuality and up for it. It's again it's different per person, but yeah.
Any more?
Yeah, go on.
God, this guy loves learning.
What do you think the future holds for you? With regards do you ever want to have children or a family or stuff like that?
That's a really good question. Yeah, I've wanted kids my whole life, and the only negative thing really when I realised I was asexual was oh, that's going to be a bit tricky. Yeah, I really want kids. I don't want to get married. I'm not interested in that, but I really, really, really want children, and I know that that's going to be quite tough. So at the moment, I'm looking into adoption and IVF as well, sperm donor kind of thing.
So if there is anyone in who is there's a couple of magazines outside.
Yeah, and I know it's going to be difficult because I will be a single parent, and that's not how I pictured things sort of how many years ago. But it's again sort of different people want different things, but I've always wanted children. That's never changed, and so that is something that I will be pursuing hopefully when I have my own house, when I don't live with my parents.
What was so this is a relatively recent establishment understanding, say.
Yeah.
So how did you feel when you sort of felt so a lot of times in life there's things you go through, but then say you have your experience and somebody can go, I don't know, depression or something like that, somebody go, I'm depressed, that's why you're feeling this way. What was it like when, as an example, what was it like when you then actually realised that this is what this actually is, this is what this,
Relief. The biggest relief I've ever had in my life, because like I said, I worked out just before I started uni that I wasn't sexually or romantically attracted to men, but I questioned it and I thought, I don't not sexually or romantically attracted to women, so I must be sexually attracted or romantically attracted to men. And I just felt so confused, and I almost forced myself into romantic relationships that then felt really uncomfortable, and you know how much stress that caused. And so when I kind of, and it was, like I say, it was to do with, I read something about Sherlock Holmes being asexual, and I was like, hang on. And literally it felt like something had hit me, the relief that just washed over me. And it was in my house last year, and Cody, who we've mentioned, and I was like, Cody, can you come up please? And I told her, and we just cried. She maybe didn't cry as much as me, but it was just the best moment of my life, actually, realising that, and realising that I wasn't broken. So.
That's quite a good moment to end on. There we go.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's about it then for the evening. I don't know if I think let's just, so there's it's we started this was a bit of a punt, this sort of thing. We had the idea and thought, oh, let's try this, let's sort of pioneer this and see what happens here. And it's really good. The last one was well attended-ish, but not as well attended as this. It's nice to see loads of people that I don't actually know, or that the people speaking don't actually know. It's nice to have strangers rather than people in fancy dresses and empty chairs. But yeah, it's really good that a lot of people have come. It's really exciting. The next one's going to be at the end of March. There will be a Facebook event. Facebook will tell me off for clicking invite too quickly today. That's kind of like a sad joke, kind of like a reference really. But yeah, hopefully you'll jump on the back of it. Hopefully you'll come back again. Thank you very much for coming. It's great that we can do enriching events that are different to what's done before on campus. We can get really involved in a sort of an academic way as well as a sort of social way. If any of you want to do a talk, it can be on absolutely anything. If you just want to get up and you just want to share a passion or share your ideas with other people and you want a platform to do it, then we will give you that platform. The idea is that you walk into the room more enlightened and having learned something that you didn't know before, and hopefully tonight you have. This is part of the Safe Week lineup, which is sexual awareness for everyone. There are a lot of other events going on across the week. We are doing lunchtime showings every single day on the Hub mezzanine by the big screen. At 12 till 2 tomorrow is the aptly titled Banana, which is about different aspects of LGBT life per se. I think it's quite a new thing. I think it's a new TV series, isn't it? So they're showing that. Then on Thursday it's 10 Things I Hate About You, and then in the evening we've got speed dating, which is like quick dating, not dating on a class A drug. There's loads of jokes that it's been told. And then on Friday we are showing the, and I've been really hyped up about this, Rent.
Was that Cody that hyped you up?
It was.
By any chance?
It was totally hyped up. I'm really excited for it. I'm actually I'm going to forfeit my lunch hour on like Thursday and carry it over the next day, so 2 hours different. There's stuff going on throughout the week. The EHSU Hearts Consent campaign, a really important campaign, don't need to go on about that. That is happening tomorrow. There's going to be a workshop at 2, and it's just you can come and find out how you can get on the campaign.